I'll make you guys a deal. This is not something that I'll promote on my network, but this is something specifically to you guys. Hopefully, when the show kind of drops, we're at a point where we're talking about game 1 of the next series as opposed to a possible game 3.
Yeah.
So whatever the next Yankee game is, if you're hearing this, whether we're talking about game 3 of Cleveland of the Yankees or game 1 and I don't know. It looks like, as I'm looking right now here, it looks like Tampa's up pretty big. So if they advance, it looks like you're playing Tampa in the next round. So if game 1 or game 3, anybody who's listening to the show who's willing to try out statementgames.com, like I said, it's free to play here. If you play the next Yankee game that's available, if you happen to go 10 for 10 with your picks, in addition to any coins that you win that you can exchange for rewards, I'm personally going to cut you a check for $250.
Look at that. That's awesome. So
That's pretty cool.
Listeners of this show, if you go to Statement Games and you make 10 prop bets and you get them all right, free to play, my guy Marc here is going to cut you a check for $250 if you get all 10 of them right. In the big inning, there was baseball. It is Wednesday, September 30th. I am CJ. You can catch the mythical me, not the me that goes on Twitter all the time, but the me that people have heard about on Twitter. I go on there once a year at CJ in Pinstripes. I am here with my guy, Evan. Evan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm on all the time. It's at Evan D. Wetzel 4. We have an awesome show for you guys today. The Yankees won last night in dominating fashion, so I'll just send it right back to CJ. You tell us what we have planned for today.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to say that we have Marc Solino here from StatementGames.com. Marc, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about what your site is about and what you do?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Appreciate you having me on here. So StatementGames.com. Just keep in mind that there's also apps that complement the website as well. So if you're not a website or a web person here and you want to take a look at the app, it's available in the major stores such as Google and Apple. But basically what we do is we're a free-to-play sports gaming platform. I can't stress that enough here. We're just a game. We've actually gone ahead and invented like a little bit of a different form of fantasy sports or fantasy baseball. And we're hoping you guys check it out. I mean, if you want, I can kind of give you an example of how the game is played and why it's different.
So are you kind of like a sports book but without actual money? Is that what I'm understanding, or is it more like a DraftKings kind of thing?
It's almost like a hybrid of everything you just mentioned above here. So for example, what we do is we create games around individual sporting events. So for tonight, you got the Yankees in Cleveland, right? So the people who want to play our game here, we're going to present them with a list of anywhere between 50 to 60 different props, so hence the company name statements, that are specific to that sporting event. Tanaka, over or under 6 innings pitched. Cleveland, over or under 7.5 hits for the game. Either team will or will not have an error for the game. It's broken down into various different categories. There's about 50 to 60 props that we assign to each sporting event. As a player of the game here, it's your job to pick 10 of them. And as you make your 10 picks, you're going to rank them in order of confidence from 10 through 1. So as that Indians-Yankee game plays out here, if your number 10 pick becomes correct, you get 10 points. If 9 through 1 are incorrect, well, now you just have a total of 10 points. You're going to play in a league of anywhere between 8 to 12 people. The person with the most points from correct picks at the end of that specific sporting event wins. Like I said, this is free to play. You're competing for what we call statement games coins, or just platform credits. It's your job to acquire as many of these credits as you possibly can through competition and other features within the platform. And when you're ready, you exchange those credits for a cash gift card of your choice. So there's a whole reward section that's integrated into the platform. There's probably about like 80 to 85 different retailers, from MLB Shop, Nike, Under Armour, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Pizza Hut. you exchange your coins for a cash gift card of your choice. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a better understanding of who we are and how we're positioned.
Yeah, man, that sounds awesome. That's really cool that you're offering that, and that sounds like something I would definitely want to jump into.
It's actually a lot of fun. I checked it out this morning, and I obviously picked everything in favor of the Yankees, so they need to do well tonight.
Evan's the homer of the show, by the way.
I'll make you guys a deal. This is not something that I'll promote on my network, but this is something specifically to you guys. Hopefully, when the show kind of drops, we're at a point where we're talking about game 1 of the next series as opposed to a possible game 3. So whatever the next Yankee game is, if you're hearing this, whether we're talking about game 3 of Cleveland and the Yankees or game 1 and I don't know. It looks like, as I'm looking right now here, it looks like Tampa's up pretty big. So if they advance, it looks like you're playing Tampa in the next round. So if game 1 or game 3, anybody who's listening to the show who's willing to try out statementgames.com, like I said, it's free to play here. If you play the next Yankee game that's available, if you happen to go 10 for 10 with your picks, in addition to any coins that you win that you can exchange for rewards, I'm personally going to cut you a check for $250.
Look at that. That's awesome. So
That's pretty cool.
Listeners of this show, if you go to Statement Games and you make 10 prop bets and you get them all right, free to play, my guy Marc here is going to cut you a check for $250 if you get all 10 of them right.
There's a free scratch off,
There you go. That's awesome. That's awesome. Speaking of playoffs, interesting that the National League just got started today. You already have Houston has advanced, and you got pretty much the entire American League has managed to play. I haven't had a chance to check on any scores so far today, and like you said, Marc, it looks like Tampa is moving towards advancing as well. If you're the Yankees, are you worried about that?
No. Call me biased or just that just rooted into like the Yankees and things like that. But I understand they're competitive and they're a scrappy team and they're deserving to kind of potentially go off as a favorite here. But from my personal standpoint here, I just can't take Tampa seriously yet until I lose to them in a big spot.
What about you, Evan? What do you think?
No, of course not. I mean, it's Tampa Bay, so they obviously have
exactly.
Glass now. Yeah, they have Glass now. They have good pitching. They play fundamental baseball. But if we get going, we can clobber any team. We just got 19 home runs in 3 games. No one does that. That's something to be excited about. And I think we could beat Tampa. I'm watching the TV right now actually, and Tampa Bay is winning 7-1 in the 3rd inning.
There's still ways to go, but
I hate to be the one. I hate to be the one to bust up this what I like to call a circle of jerks, but I think I might be a little. I love that phrase. So
usually it takes people a good 15 minutes before they start calling me a jerk, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
Yeah, don't take that.
I've broken my own personal record.
It's a term of endearment. So I hate to be the down guy, but you look at how the Yankees did against the Rays this year, and I'm a little worried, just a little bit, just this much.
Well, would you be that concerned if it was Toronto? Because you saw how bad we did up in Buffalo. We lost 8 games, 7 games.
True, but the last, maybe not the last time, but I mean we've seen the Yankees destroy the Blue Jays in that one series where they scored 36 runs
at Yankee Stadium, which we will not get to see for this entire playoffs.
Yeah, but I think we talked about this last time, Evan. The whole home field thing really is not the same without fans in the seats. I don't see it the same. Plus the fact that playoff baseball, a team can either do it or they can't, right? Like you're going to tell me that because they traveled to a different part of the United States, which is really only like a 2, maybe probably 1.5 plane
yes,
away.
I am telling you that. I would really hate to go to Cleveland. I hate Cleveland. That makes me uncomfortable.
Cleveland, we're talking about Buffalo. Oh, wait, when?
I know. I'm just saying in general, if I went to like Ohio or some shithole, I'm not going to be comfortable because it's a shithole. I got lost in Ohio. I got lost looking for the fucking highway for like 45 minutes.
How is that possible? How is that possible? It's nothing but flat land and highways. How could you
Exactly,
miss
because
the
the one
highway?
entrance was closed. It was
That's
ridiculous.
like saying I'm in New York. I got lost looking for a bodega. That doesn't make any sense. Just look and you'll see it.
Took 45 minutes. Screw you, CJ.
I don't know what to tell you about that. Okay, so you guys are positive on the Yankees. That's cool. I hope you guys are right. Oakland is currently winning against the Chicago White Sox. They are currently up 5-0 at the end of the 6th inning. What about that series? I mean, the White Sox took first game pretty big. Where do you think that's going? We'll start with you, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about Chicago is that they're a young team, so they might just not realize that they're supposed to be a year or 2 years away from really being like that competitive. So I actually think in this particular case here, the fact that there's no fans, there's not like a lot of pressure or anything like that here, it benefits like a team like Chicago. Oakland seems like they're always knocking on the door. They're up big in this game here, so completely expecting this to actually go to a game 3 here. So if I had to kind of pick one, I'll stick with Oakland, but I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if Chicago pulls this thing out.
What about you, Evan? What do you think?
I think it's interesting because Chicago's the 7th seed?
Yes.
They're a better team than Houston, and Houston somehow got 6. I mean, it's just the whole playoff format's a little odd. And I think that, you had Giolito have a perfect game all the way through the 6th going into the 7th. And if you look at the pitchers around the league, I would say the best 1-2 punch right now is probably Cole Tanaka. But right behind that, maybe it's Giolito and Dallas Keuchel. Who knows? We haven't seen Keuchel yet, really, have we? Maybe he pitched today. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know if he pitched today. I know the Braves won 1-0.
That was an insane game.
They just walked off.
Had 13 Ks, and it went to the 13th inning.
It looks like the Braves. It did go to the 13th inning. No, Keuchel didn't play today. But yeah, I'm not worried about. I mean, if it's not 2015 anymore, Dallas Keuchel doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that's really fear anymore. You know what I mean? The way I see it is that the White Sox. I don't even know if there's a single player on that team that has ever played in a playoff game.
No.
Maybe guys who have been there for a while.
They're young.
They're all so young.
They're all kids,
Who's the most tenured player on that team?
Abreu. And he had his first playoff game the other day, and in his second at bat, he hit his first home run.
So, there is a little bit of something to be said about playoff experience. It's not necessarily the end-all, be-all. Like, a team can certainly win if they don't have experience in the playoffs. But if you're the kind of team that really struggles because of a lack of experience, it can be a pretty big hindrance.
Well, it also helps when your pitcher throws a perfect game going into the 7th inning. So that's a good spot to be in,
Yeah, very true. Very true. Okay, so we already know that Houston has advanced. We already pretty much see that Tampa Bay is going to advance. We're going to cross our fingers.
Can you explain how the standings and how the format in the playoffs work? Because I don't get how a team with a better record, or tell our fans how a team with a better record can have a lower seed than, say, Houston.
So you're talking about Chicago, right?
Chicago and Houston, basically, that's weird.
I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong about this, I'm pretty sure the upper seeds got to select who they want to play. So I think that's what they did this year. I think they started.
You did mention that a couple shows ago, and I forgot about that. Is that really?
Don't hold me to this. Don't hold me to this. I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure they started that this year, and that would explain why a team like the Twins might opt to select the Astros, who seem to have had a worse season than the White Sox had.
So which teams do you think pick 1 through 3? Probably.
I believe the first seed picks, then the second seed, then I think it just goes like that. Again, I could be completely wrong about this, that they started that this year.
I just thought it was stupid. But I think everything Man Shits does is stupid.
So, in case, Mark, in case you weren't aware of this, Evan is an idiot. No, that's not what I was going to say. Evan really likes to get on my case about being like,
I'm not exactly reaching for the top shelf myself, so I'm not going to.
Well, I mean, you don't have to reach that far.
No, I'm just the rant man.
Basically, Evan, what Evan likes to do, even though he calls me too vulgar, and he says that I reference, farts and burps too often, like I'm some kind of
ridiculous. We're doing a show.
He still manages to uncork beautiful nicknames like man shits. What was the one? What did you call Sanchez again?
Sanchez.
All right, that's pretty creative.
Then there's Manny Puchado. There's Red Blunder for Clint Frazier. That's about it.
No, I'm pretty sure you had more.
Yeah,
what was the one you had? Didn't you call Mookie Betts? No, it wasn't Mookie Betts. It was Xander Bogaerts. What was this really, really stupid one you had for Xander Bogaerts?
I forget. It was so bad.
It was something, and you changed his last name to Snow Farts.
Yes.
It was the dumbest thing I think I have ever heard in my entire life.
It's what I do, man.
I don't know what to say. It just, yeah, by the way, I am looking at it right now, and indeed, they did have like a selection thing going. So I think that the A's, Tampa obviously selected the Blue Jays to play against. The A's decided that the White Sox were a better matchup than the Astros were, so they decided to select the White Sox instead of selecting the lower team, which in this case would be the Astros.
And now this is not going to reseed, right? It's just a bracket style format. So you just kind of move on to the next thing in your bracket. It's not like the top seeded team now has the ability to pick and choose who they're going to be playing next.
Right. Yeah. It's a hard bracket, and it stays the way that it is. So
we play Tampa Bay no matter what.
Correct. Yeah. It's not like Tampa's going to get to select its next opponent. All right. So that's American League. National League. The team that I see that's really funny in there is the Marlins, right? Because the Marlins last year lost 105 games. They were absolutely god-awful. And in any other season, the funny thing is they still make the playoffs because they're the 6th seed. So they would have snagged that other wild card spot. It's crazy that this isn't just like a COVID wild card spot like the Blue Jays have or the Reds have. This is legitimately, you made the playoffs and would have made the playoffs if this was a regular 6-team playoff thing.
Right.
That's crazy.
I mean, look at the players. Who stands out? I mean, Mark, who do you stands out on the Marlins as being star of the future or something?
Oh man, a little bit of the guy who just pitched the other day against the Yankees, the game 1 of that series. That's the guy who kind of
you talking about Sanchez?
Yeah,
Sixto Sanchez.
Sanchez, he's pretty.
That's I guess I just really haven't been paying that much attention to like the Marlins over here. But going into this year, it's the guy can throw. Yeah, I'm not sure because we're just kind of like taking like a little bit of a lax kind of like Turner or anything like that here. But I thought he really stood out well. What was that? Was that Saturday? Or was it Friday?
Yeah, it was one of those two. I don't entirely remember. I believe wasn't he he was one of the players that came back from the Phillies, right? In the Real trade.
Yeah. There you go. Yep.
That's good, man. Hey, the Marlins went 31-29. Not the best thing in the world, but hey, good for them, man. To finish above 500 just a year removed from losing 105 games. And
they
not
have a
to
better
mention,
record than Houston.
Yeah, and not to mention the fact that, the team basically died earlier this year. Like half of their active roster caught COVID. That's crazy, man. So they were playing for a while with like a B squad, and they still managed to make it.
Yeah. So let's jump back to the Yankees because I want to hear Mark's opinion on Gary Sanchez because I can't stand him.
Look, it's almost like the little girl with the curl. It's like you have a love affair with him when he's kind of like, hitting those kind of like, bombs here. But then it's like, dude, man, you got to catch the ball behind the plate. Like, it's not like it's been 1 year and you're hoping that he develops into the position here. This is like a constant thing. And whether he's going to one knee or no matter what they try and do in terms of small little adjustments behind the plate here, I mean, take the whole bat and the frustration between his hot and coldness throughout any type of a season. Catch the ball, man. You just gotta, let's start there. I guess you can kind of say that about the Yankees, kind of like the team. I'm a little. If there was one thing that worries about me about them this year is the way that they play defense, and I really can't look any further than Sanchez.
We're number one in errors.
Yeah. So listen, hold the phone. What Evan really wanted to ask you is how much patience. Okay, no, I need to phrase this properly. At what point, Mark, do you give up on him?
Thank you.
How many years does he have left on his contract?
I'm pretty sure it's just next year.
Yeah.
I think he came up in 2015, so 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I don't know. He might not have the service time in that first season, but I could be wrong about that.
That sounds about. I was going to say it's no more than like 1 or 2 here. Look, I would kind of like keep him around, but if he's looking for some kind of like an astronomical contract that's going to break the bank for him personally, I'd let him walk.
Yeah, I agree with that. I completely agree with that. This is where Evan and I differ.
It depends on the price. It depends on the price.
Sure, yeah. Like
as big as it is, and hey, look, I like the catcher, the guy who pushed the goal yesterday, Higgy, but I mean, if you got to pick him over Sanchez, gun to the head here, I'm still taking like Sanchez. So it also kind of like depends on who are you replacing him with.
All right, Evan's shaking his head. Hold on 1 second, Mark. I hate to interrupt you here. Evan's shaking his head, and I got to know what the hell you could possibly be shaking your head at.
You trade Sanchez right now, and you sign Real Muto, and we're good to go.
All right, I'll do that. Done.
Dude, done. Real Muto.
Done.
Real Muto, when he is a free agent, is going to be north of 30 years old. Sign him for what and for how long?
Who cares? I'm north of 30 years old. I'm doing my best work in my 30s.
Yeah, exactly. And all you do is sit around eating hot dogs and whacking off. So, you know, how much money do you deserve?
I do eat a lot of hot dogs.
For 2 years with a club option for a third. Done.
Yeah. I mean, if you could have him, yeah. And you know what? If I could buy a mansion for $25, I'm doing that as well. But I don't think I'm going to get
we're
that.
Yankee fans. We want all stars at every single position.
Every position.
Every position.
I completely agree with you. But I'll
tell you what. We demand and deserve.
Yeah. Bring in Trout.
But well, that would be cool. You go up to Real Muto and you say, I'll give you 2 years with a club option for a third. He's going to ask you to wipe his ass because he's going to go elsewhere and get a 5-year deal worth way more.
Probably.
So to you, Evan, I have to say this. What the hell are you talking about? How could you possibly listen, I'm with Mark. Field any offers for him. And listen, you could get an awesome offer for Gary Sanchez, and I would pull the trigger on it if the offer was good enough. But to tell me that you just want to launch the guy into the sun for what? Trade him for what?
No, I'll trade him for something good. He's still a top 10 catcher. Look around the league. Catching is a very right. It's a weak position, but we also have Austin Wells coming up, and we have other options.
Oh,
if we can sign Real Muto. What do you mean? Oh, come on. Austin Wells is going to be nasty. You come on.
You don't know that? You don't know that?
I don't know that.
I remember when Austin Romine was supposed to be nasty. How did that turn? No, he wasn't. He was a backup.
I like Romine.
No one frames like Austin. See, Mark gets it.
Yeah, I loved Austin. I was pissed when he kind of like, he went to Detroit, right?
Yeah, Detroit. Yeah, he's Detroit.
I'm not even sure if he started on Detroit.
I think
he did,
but I liked him.
He hit like 7 home runs this year. He was decent.
Listen, dude, I don't know what to tell you.
I'm just not looking to sign Sanchez to a 10-year contract or anything like that if he's looking to break the bank.
Yeah, like that's the thing. When he becomes a free agent, if he wants like godly amounts of money, I mean, I'm sorry, man. It is not 2016. It is not 2017 anymore.
See,
You
here's
have
the
not
thing.
hit
If Stanton somehow opted out or agreed to a trade, I would then keep Sanchez as the DH and still go after Realmuto.
Well, he already said he's not going to opt out.
I know he's not,
I was
so
gonna say,
maybe they
why
trade him.
would Stanton opt out? He
Yeah,
ain't going
makes no
anywhere.
sense. Makes no sense.
Which is fine. The Yankees plan already had Stanton for the next godly number of years.
I
the
believe
Yankees
it's 7.
Yeah, whatever. The
7
Yankees,
at
there's
200
no way.
something.
No smart baseball team, and the Yankees are a smart baseball team. No smart baseball team is taking on a guy who has an opt-out with 7 years after, banking on him opting out. When they made that trade, they said, okay, we're assuming this guy is with us forever.
Cole's deal does not have an opt-out, does it?
I don't remember hearing about an opt-out. I
No
feel
trade,
like that
yes,
kind of thing.
but opt-out, no.
Yeah, it has a no trade, but I'm no opt-out. Kind of like Bryce Harper. His deal doesn't have an opt-out either.
Yo, Bryce Harper sucks.
Bryce Harper does not suck. Bryce Harper does not
He's so overrated. He just hit 100 RBIs for the second time like a year ago. He's trash.
RBIs are a shitty way to dictate whether a player is good or bad.
Well, how are you going to dictate him? Because he's the most charismatic? Who gives a shit?
Hey, listen, if you put Bryce Harper on the Yankees, he would have more RBIs because more guys are getting on base, you dolt. RBIs are not RBIs do not tell you how good a player is because it depends on what team they play for. Do you understand? A guy like Miguel Cabrera, who in his prime was getting 160 ribbies, if you put him on a team like, I don't know, what's a really shitty team? Like today's Pirates when he was in his prime, he might make it to 100 because he was so good. But when you're talking about a stat that requires that you go, well, you know, they had this many players that are good ahead of him. You can't really – then it becomes a bullshit statistic.
See how easy it is to piss off CJ?
Oh, you talking to – listen.
Just pick a player and say he sucks.
And say he sucks. He's god awful.
Mark, you're here on kind of a backwards day today because usually I'm the one pissing Evan off within the first 5 seconds. Yeah. All I got to do is burp into my microphone. He'll go on a 30-minute rant about how disgusting
because it's so obnoxious.
Well, like you said on Twitter before, you know, we're coming off a good Game 1 win. We're feeling good about ourselves. We're in a good mood.
Yep, exactly. If we had lost 15-1, I'd be furious right now. I'd be drinking all those liquor bottles behind you.
I'm sad that the Twins are out. That would have been a really nice ALCS match.
That would have been fun for us, yeah.
I would have taken that in a heartbeat.
I mean, part of me, in a way, though, I mean, if it's going to happen, I wouldn't mind sticking it to Tampa Bay and then meeting up with Houston, kind of like in the finals and getting some revenge on those freaking turkeys. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, the ass turds.
That's true.
I
would love to see a fourth. Yeah, you see that? Everything's poop. Everything's poop. He talks about how crass I am, but everything's poop. This guy thinks about poop a lot.
What? That was easy. Whatever.
Anyways, yeah, I would like that too. I guess a good second place would be to bend the Astros over and sweep them in 4 games now that they can't bang on their
I mean,
track.
Would you say that the Astros are significantly weaker without Verlander, even though he was pretty shaky?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's a loss for sure. And could they have won more games? Yeah, of course. Verlander's good even in a shaky year. But no, man, that team it was not gelling this year.
Yeah,
nothing was working. You know.
Here's the question for Marc.
At least early on, so.
Do you think after this 60-game season, Marc, that the Red Sox will go back to Cora or the Astros will go back to Hinch?
I do not think the Astros, will go back to Hinch. I think that Cora goes back to the Red Sox.
Yeah.
I don't have a definitive reason as to why, other than kind of like what I'm hearing. But it kind of looks like, hey, look, you know what? The owner likes the guy. He took his lumps, served his jail sentence, and now he's ready to come back.
Yeah, I'm not truly sold on it. It's definitely a possibility, but if you're asking me, bet Cora or bet the field, I would bet the field. But I think for any one individual person, I would say Cora has the upper ground. I guess he has like the plurality, so to speak. Yeah. But again, if I was to say him or the field, I'd probably go with the field and they sign someone else.
Regardless, I'm going to do them both hard.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Chuck frozen batteries. That's cool. Whatever you got to do. Yeah, I'm looking at some of the players on the Astros. Correa had a down year. Altuve had a super down year.
That was the
awful
best
year for Altuve. Yeah, because he doesn't have a buzzer taped to his chest to let him know what pitches are coming. So, it's kind of hard to hit.
Did you hear the announcers joking about that during the last game? Oh, it was hilarious. I can't remember. It was two old school announcers. I can't remember who it was, but they're basically like, yeah, of course they're hitting poorly. They don't have buzzers and trash cans this year.
I love it. That sounds like the kind of thing Pete Hernandez would say. I like that.
Hey, look, these guys, they got some big game pedigree conking within them. So even though it's definitely a little bit of a down year for Houston this year, and who knows what they were getting or how much the cheating was kind of like helping them or hurting them or something like that here. But I'm not surprised at all that they've picked it up and played well in these last two games against Minnesota.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see, other games that are going on. Like we said, the Reds have already lost to the Braves, so the Braves are up 1-0. The Cardinals are currently beating the Padres in the top of the first, 2-0. Marlins are about to beat the Cubs. Top of the ninth, Marlins are up 5-1.
There you go. There's your team. These are your boys.
Hey, the Miami Jeters. The Miami Jeters. I'm gonna tell you. Actually, now that Cardinals game is actually 4-1 at the end of the first. So that lead has expanded a bit. Oh, that Marlins game is actually over. Yeah, so those are the scores right now. Later today, 7:08. Okay, I don't know why they went with 08 instead of 05. That's bizarre, but 7:08, Yankees versus Indians. We've got also today Brewers Dodgers. So the Dodgers will win 55-0. That's at 10:08 p.m. because the West Coast hates us. And yeah, we actually have we have one afternoon game tomorrow, Reds and Braves, Marlins and Cubs at 2. White Sox. Yeah, some good games.
Today was pretty busy. We had a game starting at noon, and we're going to have the last game starting at 10 p.m. So it's been a pretty fun day.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're all most excited about the Yankees with Tanaka time. I think we got this one.
I hope you're right.
He's ranked number 2 for active pitchers ERA with 5 games or more. So he's the second active. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
He's at
Tanaka's always
174.
174. Oh, ERA. Okay.
ERA in 8 starts.
Got it.
So,
yeah, no, Tanaka's old faithful, man. I mean, he did have one tough go against the Astros last year, but who isn't going to have one bad game somewhere? He's not perfect.
Yeah, especially when the other team's cheating, right?
Yeah, right? Also true. Thank God for the Nationals, man. Thank God they stuffed their wieners in their mouths. Hey,
wieners.
you guys,
wieners.
Well, yeah, what are you going to do? You guys want to switch it up a little bit and talk football a little?
Sure.
Cool with that. A couple last week, I think it was right before their week 2 game. Chris Johnson said that Adam Gase has a brilliant offensive mind. Now, Marc, I don't know where does your allegiance lie in terms of football?
I'm a Giants fan.
You're a Giants fan. Hey, that's cool, man. They're both sprinting really hard for that number 1 overall pick. but at least you guys have 2 Super Bowls to show for it in my lifetime. So, I mean,
No,
that's great.
let's be real. The Giants have so much more hope than the useless Jets. Come on.
True. Even if they both finish 0-16, I'll be like, well, at least the Giants are going to go up from here.
Right?
I don't want to really go too crazy talking about this quote from Chris Johnson because it's been said to death. I'm just going to say what I heard Greeny say on ESPN. If he has a great offensive mind, when does he plan on using it? Because I've seen nothing that points to that. Nothing at all. I've seen them win 6 of their last, 8 games last year against absolute trash teams, and that bought him some time. Because let me tell you, if he didn't have that, and he has just the first 2 weeks of this season, he would have been gone. And now he's lost to the Colts. Whatever. Good team. But, dude, you can't score. This team can't score. And now they're going to play the Broncos. And the Broncos are going to start, what's his name, Blake Ripien, whatever his name is. Dude was an undrafted free agent last year. If the Jets lose this game,
They will.
If that doesn't lead to Adam Gase getting fired, I'm going to personally go to his house and fire him. And I'm going to go to Chris Johnson's house and I'm going to be like, look, I fired Adam Gase. It's over. Like, you have to. This is happening. He's done.
They've hinted that he will likely get fired.
What's that, Marc?
I said, no, I know that I'm running that game. I should know this. Are the Jets home or was that in Denver?
That is in Denver.
It's in Denver, right?
I believe it's in Denver.
So I don't know.
The same goes with football. The crowds aren't there, so I'm not really going to pay too much attention to home field advantage. At least I know, like, sports books aren't paying a lot of attention to home field advantage.
Are there fans, though? Because I've been seeing random fans at random things.
Some stadiums do. I don't think Denver. Well, you know what? That might change because some
Did
stadiums.
You see what
I think it's changing. I know that Dallas has fans. Kansas City had some fans. I know that the
Indy just allowed
Florida
fans
teams
for the first time.
have Indy had fans. I think it's really kind of like, I mean, who knows? I don't. I have no idea. But
did you see what Denver did last week? Though, it's hilarious. They took every South Park character and they put cardboard cutouts of them in the stands.
That's great.
Like Randy March was there doing marijuana. Like
he was doing the devil's lettuce, was he? So yeah, the Jets just make me sad, and it really makes me sad because Darnold is he's good, man. Like he's not Patrick Mahomes good, obviously, but he's above average, and he should be progressing. And kind of like Jeff Fisher, Adam Gase can't progress a quarterback to save his life.
No.
If you look at the teams that he was the key offensive mind in other words, teams where he was the offensive coordinator or the head coach, and if you take away the years where he had Peyton Manning at quarterback, his career is just trash. He's like 30th in active head coaches, all like among all of them in terms of like offensive yards, touchdowns, first downs. The guy just sucks, and how can you possibly say he's a brilliant offensive mind?
I mean, he can't even use Bell right. Bell's his best offensive threat.
He turned Le'Veon Bell into a goddamn nobody. Yeah. Did you know that going into his first season with the Jets, Le'Veon Bell had the most yards per play all time of any player, yards from scrimmage. What? At least for running backs. So if you accumulate his receiving yards and his rushing yards, no running back in National Football League history has averaged more yards per game than Le'Veon Bell before he reached the Jets. And then he went to like 25th in the league. You are such a bad coach that you turned Le'Veon Bell into a nobody.
Pretty much.
Marc, what do you think of Daniel Jones? What do you think of Daniel Jones, Marc?
He's got to stop turning the ball over is what I actually think. I mean, he looks the part. He can make all the throws. Looks like he's got some good command of the team here. But if you can't hold on to the ball or stop turning it over, you're not going to make much progress. So I think the jury is still out, but for what I see so far, I mean, I like him. I'm rooting for him. It's not like I think he can't play. I think he can play, just like everybody else, though. I think he's got to cut down on the turnovers significantly, and now enough already.
The Giants also have to get a really good offensive line because their offensive line is struggling.
And
Seems
why
like
do
they're
we do
playing
that
pretty well in the pass protect. I mean, they can't run the ball kind of like for crap here, but it's the same thing, just like the Jets. It's like every single year. I mean, how many times can you rebuild the freaking offensive line? You think you would actually, get something right, or at least something that's proficient, one of these years.
Yeah.
I think this is literally the fourth year that Gettleman has tinkered with or played around with this offensive line. Now, Solder not kind of like reporting to camp or opting out for the year has a big part of what's going on, right now. But even when he was playing last year, it wasn't like he was, lights out and hitting out of the park from a blocking perspective. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
True. I don't know if Evan wants to add anything to that, but if not, Joe can pop in.
I want the Jets to lose every game for the rest of the season. I don't give a shit. But I want to watch them win for what? For what purpose is winning this season?
Well, hold the phone. If the Jets lose this week and they fire Adam Gase,
I'll be happy.
Let's say Greg Williams jumps in at head coach.
Sure.
I would want them to win. I would want to see. No, I would want to see. I want victories. I want to see W's, and I don't care if it means a less draft pick. Because if the Jets win, if they start winning from that point, that means that Greg Williams is the guy that can maybe help Sam Darnold finally reach a new level.
No, I want to see how many coaches we can fire by the end of the season.
You're going to waste a really good young quarterback. Who are you going to go for? Joe, can you please save us? We need.
I can't save you, buddy. I can't save you, buddy.
Please, just ask us what questions you have.
There's our producer, Joe, by the way.
Questions. All right. So you guys were talking about the seating, how it's a little fucking strange. It doesn't really make
weird.
any sense.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So my question was, who do you think the lowest seed to advance will be and how far? But since the seeding is so messed up, you're welcome to just say who you think the worst regular season team is, who's going to make it the furthest in each league.
It's hard to say that it's not going to be Houston.
The Yankees.
Well, I mean,
that's a good one.
That's not a bad point. They're the fifth seed. I guess Joe, clarify the question.
They're not even a top 4 seed.
Joe, are you talking about like make it past the first round or make it to the ALCS? Like at what point are we talking about?
So let's say the 4 through the 8 in each league.
Okay.
Who's going to advance the furthest?
I mean, we already have Houston that's 6th that has advanced.
I think the White Sox will advance.
You think so? You think the White Sox will beat
I think they're going to win tomorrow or whenever the next game is. I think they're going to win.
I don't know. I disagree with that, but I wouldn't be shocked. I think it's going to be Houston. I don't think there's any other. Maybe you could say the Marlins, but they're kind of on similar ground in terms of seed and kind of in terms of just how they did in general for the year.
It's not bad. I mean, I think just Atlanta's too good, so I can't see Cincinnati doing anything. Of course, they just lost today, so. There's that. Yeah, for the National League.
Right.
What seed is San Diego?
They're 4th.
They're a 4.
Yeah.
Cardinals are what, a 5?
5, yeah.
Yeah. Can the Mets come back?
I think it'll be the 6s. I think it'll be the 6 for both leagues.
What if the Mets?
I mean, San Diego's a fun team to watch. I know that they're not in the bottom 4, but that's a fun team to kind of watch. I like checking them out a couple of times this year.
Yeah,
I'd like to see them make some noise.
Joe is trying to say some bullshit about the Mets.
What if they come back?
What does that even mean?
Number 9. Damn it! What if they come back? It could happen.
Like, can you? I got a question for you, Joe. Can you shut it until it's fixed? Is that an option for you?
No, They literally let half the league play, and you still didn't make it.
I know. It's depressing, man. I just got to try.
But at least you got the best picture.
Yeah, you're going to get your third straight Cy Young. Woo-hoo.
I talked a lot of shit this year. I talked a lot of shit. I thought the 60-game season was made for us, but
you always do. You think it every year. You've thought it every year since David Wright.
Because on paper, we're amazing, man. On paper, we look great. We look set up for the next 5 years on paper.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was
field,
toilet paper, and someone wiped their ass with it.
Yeah, your best third baseman was Robin Ventura.
Oh,
like 100 years ago.
And then he came to us and became relevant.
They're player with the most. Their player with the most hitters with the most hit all time. I can't even speak English. Their player with the most hits all time has like 1,700 of them. That's sad. Wait, Joe, I thought you said you had a second question.
No, he had to leave. We started making fun of him.
Oh.
You said questions. I only had one.
Oh, you suck. You've had 2 weeks for this, Joe.
Oh, wait, actually, I did want to ask Mark though. Is there a code
Sure.
that the listeners need to use for the website, or
the only thing that they need to do is to make sure that they're following you guys, and just kind of like ping you like a little note saying, hey, you know what, I'm in this weirdos fantasy baseball kind of like game here. But as long as they're following
make sure it's
you,
Evan. If you try to message me, I'm not going to see it for like a week.
Yeah, message me. He's awful.
Make
So
sure
Evan,
you message
who
Evan
are
or
they
something
following?
like that, or you can follow at Statement Games and just ping us kind of like a little tweet or a comment on one of our posts and something like that here. But you don't need a code. You just have to have the ability to access the internet or the ability to download an app. As soon as you get in, I give you 60 coins just for checking this thing out. And whenever this airs, the next Yankee game that's currently up, I just don't think we're going to get in game 2.
yeah,
Too
so we'll
short
do.
of a time frame. So
Yeah, this will air after the
game
game,
on.
most likely.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
So to
And if you
clarify,
guys have fun
everyone,
with it, give me any feedback that you have, and if you have fun with it, maybe we can do this again. Maybe we'll come to the table with something else, as long as the Yankees keep rolling.
yeah. So okay, I just want to make sure everyone is clear on that deal. You're going to go to so you got to make sure if you're going to participate in this, when you reach out, you have to reach out and say, hey, heard on your episode of your podcast that you were doing this deal. I went ahead and I submitted 10 bets on select.
Just put a comment, say hashtag 27 down.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
Or
Something like that.
take
So
a
you don't have to write the
screenshot
official note.
Yeah, and once again, you make 10 bets, you get all 10 right. $250 of real money goes straight to you.
Take a screenshot of whatever you did on the website too. That might help. I don't know, of your picks.
Whatever
Sure.
is going to be easier for you guys. I'm just hoping you can check it out and give me some feedback on what you like and what you don't like here. And again, it's just a game, so have some fun with it.
I had fun with it. I hope everything I predicted comes right and I win everything. The Yankees scoring like 30 runs.
All
And
right.
of course, you guys can play the next game as well. So this is not just for the listeners.
Awesome.
If you three wanted to check it out as well or give it another try, you're more than welcome. So.
Cool.
Yep, I'm going to
Awesome.
promote it tonight and hopefully get you guys some more followers too at Statement Games.
All right.
I appreciate it.
We have anything else to talk about? Or are we done?
This is 27 Down, Perfect Podcast for the Perfect Game. We will see you guys next week. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks
Thanks
a
a
lot.
lot, guys.
Peace.
Take care, guys.